Hello, everyone. This is Dr. I here, the founder of Classroom Without Walls. In this free training, I have been doing a number of free trainings. And in this training, I want to offer you some really practical tips that you can apply right away to make homeschooling and distance learning easier and a lot more effective. And no fluff, just me come here, and this training will probably last 15 to 20 minutes to give you some really valuable tips that can bring some confidence, some success, and some clarity and certainty to your homeschooling journey right now. And I am live on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Periscope, and on YouTube. So if you are live with me right now, let me know in the comment section where you are joining me live from. And I will not be able to answer any of your questions right now as I go live, but I promise you that after the live session is over, I'm going to go back to my social media platforms and to visit your questions and comments and give you as much valuable information as possible. Okay, so today we're talking about consume versus create. And just a quick, so today's discussion is based on what I discussed last week, which is another free training on homeschooling and distance learning. So if you missed last week's training, and I actually did quite a few, make sure you leave a training in the comment section, and I'm going to send you the link. Okay. So today's training is based on what I talked about last Thursday, which is a framework that you can apply to your homeschooling right now that I promise you will bring a sense of structure, a sense of confidence to your very homeschooling journey right now. And I worked in higher education. I taught in higher education for 10 plus years. And now I help other schools and educators understand how to teach, especially how to leverage social media and creative technologies to make teaching more effective. So for me, coming from an educational background, I know by heart as a mom myself. I'm also homeschooling my own children right now. Homeschooling is hard. Being an educator is hard. Being a teacher is very, very hard. That's why I'm doing this series of training to really help you to make this easier. Okay. So last week we talked about this model, this framework that can really add a sense of structure to your homeschooling journey right now, which is you start with learn, okay? Okay, start with learn and reflect and teach. And I talked about so learn is the 10% of formal learning, which is the online classes your children are taking right now, the books they're reading, the homework they're doing, whatever. Okay, so that's kind of formal learning, which is only 10%. I also talked about the 2010 the 70-20-10 learning model, which means that for any transformation to happen from point A to point B, where they want to be, and for that transformation to happen, and there has to be a process, a bridge. Okay, so on this bridge, and 10% of this transformation comes from learning, formal learning. Okay, taking class, reading a book, that's formal learning. Okay, so that's learn. And also, last week we talked about reflect. Okay, for learning to happen and to really help your children internalize the knowledge, internalize the learning, they have to engage in a very deep reflective process. Okay, and last week, if you missed last week's training, I highly recommend you check it out because we talked about three powerful reflection questions that you need to start asking your children right now. My husband and I, we started asking our children those three questions, which are developed based on neuroscience research. Okay, I use them in my own undergraduate teaching at my own school, classroom without walls, and also with my own children. And they really bring learning to a new level. So I'm now going to repeat the three questions. And today we are going to focus on teaching, okay, or slash creating or create. So I'm going to share with you again based on research. I'm an educator, so I when I share something with you, it's not just what I think, it's actually based on solid body of research from other educators, from other scholars, from other researchers. Okay. And so I'm going to, in today's training, I'm going to share with you why teaching is the best way for our children to learn and to show others they actually have learned something. Okay, so I'm going to erase this. And this model I'm about to share with you is really powerful. And I promise you that this model, if you really understand how to apply this model, and you can not only add structure to your homeschooling experience right now, but to also add confidence and success to your homeschooling journey right now. Okay, with so many schools are closed, parents, you are probably struggling to balance everything, right? You have your own work to do, and now you have to help your children learn at home and navigate all those digital social media platforms, learning platforms, so on and so forth. So this model that I'm about to share with you, I hope you can take some notes. If you want, I can share additional research articles with you that can, I promise you, that will make your life easier and make your homeschooling journey a lot more effective. Okay, and this model is being tested by millions of schools in the United States and globally speaking. Okay, so pay attention. So this model I'm about to share with you is called the Bloom taxonomy. Let me move this. So what this model is about is it's really kind of a hierarchy that documents a student's learning journey. Okay, so this model is developed by Benjamin Bloom, and this model has also been adjusted by other educators because of the contribution by Benjamin Bloom. So this model is called a Bloom taxonomy. And I'm going to explain this model to you. And after I explain, I'm also going to show you how you can apply this model to your homeschooling right now to make your homeschooling a lot easier and effective. Okay, so this model is kind of a hierarchy, like different steps, different talks about kind of a journey to help your children to learn something. Okay, so 6 steps. So at the bottom of this model is to learn something, right? So the first is to remember. Okay, remembering facts and information. And this is kind of what you ask your children, hey, what did you learn today? They will tell you like specific facts, information, time, dates, history, figures, facts. So that's kind of remembering the information that you have learned, you have remembered. So the next level is understand. So after you memorize the information, you want to make sure that you actually understand. You can actually explain the information in your own words. Okay. So the next level is after you understand something, and you should be able to apply. Okay. So application is based on your understanding of something and based on the facts and information that you have gathered so that you can apply the information, apply your understanding to solve a specific problem. Okay, so those 3 are actually lower level of cognitive development. Okay, so unfortunately, and those three are what many parents they focus on, and like many schools they also focus on this, and even like to a lesser extent application they don't even do the application part. So for example, if you come back home, nowadays we are doing homeschooling. If you ask your children, hey, if I ask my kid, my older son Aiden, hey Aiden, what did you learn today? He may tell me, hey mom, I learned how to do this. Okay, and this doing this involves three steps, ABC. So that is remembering facts, information. And parents, you cannot stop there. After they tell you they learned ABC, and ask them to show they have actually understood this. And what do you ask? Hey, you remember this? What do you mean? Explain this in your own words. So ask them to explain this in their own words. So they learned ABC. Hey Elia, ask them to they remember ABC, and ask them to explain ABC in their own words. Okay, and after you do that, that's now it. Okay, that's now the end of the learning journey, and ask them to apply. Okay, so Aiden, you remember this, and you can kind of explain this in your own words. And how can we apply what you have just learned to solve a problem? Okay, so that this part is critical. And so as parents, you need to understand, or educators watching this right now or joining us or watching the replay, so we need to move away from memorizing facts and information to actually go to show me you understand this, and then show me you can actually apply this. Okay, but again, this is only the lower level. As educators, as parents, and we need to help our children to move away from the lower cognitive level to the higher cognitive level. Why? Because the lower level can be replaced, and it is already happening, will be replaced by machine, technology, this and that very fast. Like remembering information. We don't even have to remember our birthday or our calendar. We have like apps, we have machine, we have computer to teach us how to do that, right? So you need to move to the higher level. So I'm going to show you what are the higher level. Okay, so hold on, I'm going to charge my computer for a second. And I forgot to charge my computer. It's not good. You don't want me. Yes, I'm still live. I have no idea what happened. Let me check on my. Let me check on my audio. Um, 1 second. So you can see I'm really live right now, trying to troubleshoot this. And I hope you can camera. Oh, we're back. Audio mic. Okay. So you really want to move your children from here to the higher level. And I'm going to explain to you now what is the higher level of cognitive development. Okay. So after they apply, and the next one is to analyze. Okay. So based on what you have applied, so analyze the situation for me. What works, what doesn't work, and then evaluate. And so you can introduce new frameworks to really help your children or learners to practice critical thinking and introduce new perspective on the same issue, and ask them to be really critical and to really evaluate, break things into different parts, into different categories, analyze this, analyze that, and then evaluate this works, this doesn't work, and how can we improve this. Okay. And then the last part, which is the highest level, and that is to create. Okay, so this goes back to what I discussed last week, which I reviewed at the beginning of today's live training. I remember the model I shared earlier. Learn, reflect, and teach. Okay, so creating something is a form of teaching. It's a way for you to teach something. And so the highest level, and those three are higher higher cognitive level. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through an example to make this a little bit easier for you to understand. And so let's say that I teach social media and marketing and personal branding. Let me remove this. So that's kind of what I teach. Let's say that I'm teaching a marketing class, and my children, they are reading a book. They just watch a video, which they learned the fundamental principles of marketing. And again, you don't have to use my example. You can fill in the blank. It doesn't have to be marketing. Maybe your children are learning about literature or physics or chemistry or language, whatever it is, fill in the blank. What I'm giving you right now is a framework. It is a structure that you can apply. Okay, so let's say that I'm teaching my children are learning marketing. I'm going to show you how to apply this model, this framework, to make your homeschooling a lot easier right now. Okay. Okay. My kid, right, just read this book or watch this video from this professor regarding marketing and learn the 4P of marketing. Okay. So in case you are not a marketer, I'm just going to tell you what the 4Ps are. They include product and place and price. And the last one is promotion. Those are the 4P, which is a very classic marketing theory. Let's say that you want to apply this model to make I hope you guys can still see me. You want to apply this model to bring some structure to your homeschooling journey, right? And your children have just learned this 4P, which is a very classic theory in marketing. So remembering, you asked your children, hey, Aiden, what did you learn today? Hey, mommy, I learned the 4P of marketing. And then you ask, what are the 4Ps? Your children may tell you product, place, price, and promotion. So very good. They have remembered the information. So that is level one, remembering. And then next, you need to ask them, hey, can you explain to me what you mean by product, what you mean by place, what you mean by price, what you mean by promotion? So then they are really going through this and they are understanding this, they are digesting the information. If they can explain this to you in their own words and maybe even give you a few examples, it means that they actually understood this, right? And then next, let them apply this to solve a problem. For example, right now we are dealing with the coronavirus, and so many schools are closed. So many like small business shops are closed. Let's say that one of your best friends have a coffee shop, and you can ask your kid, okay, Aiden, you just taught me those principles of marketing, and how can we apply this to really help one of mommy's friends who is struggling with her coffee shop? So how can we apply this to solve her coffee shop situation right now? Okay, so you ask your kid to actually apply. So far you have engaged in the lower level of cognitive development. Okay, so don't stop there. So after this, okay, they apply this and do this and that. This is how we do the promotion. This is how we do the place. This is how we do the price. So they told you about everything, and then ask him to analyze and break things apart. Okay, so you talk about a promotion and break it into apart. And are you talking about online promotion? How are you going to promote this online? Does this work? Or are you going to talk about knock on the door, face-to-face promotion, giving people some free coffee given the situation right now? So does this work? Does this work? So really break what you are doing here apart and start to analyze them, right, into different categories, or break them into the 4P category, start analyzing. And also evaluate to really exercise critical thinking. So maybe like I know I'm pretty familiar with marketing. So the 4P model is very classic, but there are researchers who have been suggesting the 4P model is no longer working. That is the old school way of doing marketing. And today they're talking about the fifth P, so which is people. So what this means is that the traditional 4P really focuses on the organization's perspective, the product I'm trying to sell, how much I want to charge people, how much profit I want to make, how am I going to promote. It's always about me, 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 me from the organization's perspective. So the new model or new paradigm is talking about, okay, this is no longer working and we are entering a new paradigm, which is the fifth P, which is people. We want to be people focused, consumer focused, customer focused, to really design our product, our service based on our consumers. So here, as you are helping your children, really depending on the age of your children. If your children are younger, they probably need some help. If your children are older, they can probably do this on their own with their teachers. If not, they can organize their own group discussions, peer-to-peer discussions, Zoom chat, things like that. So here, as they are doing evaluation, you are introducing a new framework, right? So far, what you remembered is the 4P, but how about the fifth P? And how we can combine this to evaluate what you have done here, right? Being really critical, introducing new perspectives, new approaches to things, and evaluate. And then create. How about you right now creating a marketing campaign? Right? Or if you don't, and last week we also discussed different ways to create. And we discussed, create, which is another way to teach. And I use them kind of interchangeably, teaching through different types of creation. And so you can teach or you can create like an audio, which is a podcast, right? So you learn this really amazing 4P, and you're now talking about this fifth P. You're talking about this marketing campaign to really save this local coffee shop. So why don't you launch a podcast to talk about what you have learned, right? So that is one way. You can also talk about this to teach through the creation of written format, right? Why don't you write a blog article instead of the traditional papers, essays? Why don't you write a blog article, publish on LinkedIn, publish on Medium? There are so many different places, right? And or we discuss audio, written. How about video? Hey, how about you actually go live and teach what you have done? As you are going live, you can share your slides, you can do a presentation, you can show some graphs to demonstrate. After your mom's friend applied this new framework and the coffee shop is actually being saved. How powerful is that, right? Or you can do a combination of them. You can create Adobe Spark page, which I also discussed before. So you can be really creative. There are quite a few different ways to teach, to demonstrate what you have learned. And this is not only your children are absorbing information, digesting information, and internalizing what they have learned, but also they are building their digital footprint, but also they are developing 21st century skills. And I have been talking so much about this. LinkedIn Learning, McKinsey, so much research has shown that a very needed 21st century skill is our students, our children's ability to create, to market who they are, to showcase their skills, soft skills, hard skills, to showcase their talent, and even video production. Video production, I'm not talking about Hollywood production, but really like what I'm doing right now, actually teach you something and have a camera, have a microphone. Those are going to be more and more important for our children to learn and to be able to do. Okay, so that's kind of this is the Bloom. If you are interested in the Bloom taxonomy, this model, and you can send me a message. I will send you some additional articles, and if you want to learn more about this. but this framework and this structure is what I apply to my own teaching and my own school classroom without walls, and also what I teach other schools and other teachers how they can teach the next generation. So if you find this to be really helpful and beneficial, please give this a share, a heart, and a comment. And please follow me on social media and follow me on hashtag classroom without walls. And I also offer the same type of teaching to really help parents help their children to become future ready, to learn the necessary skills through frameworks, models like this to make learning fun, relevant, and effective. So if you think this type of teaching can really benefit your children, and if you are struggling with homeschooling and to really help your children be ahead of the game, not falling behind, and contact me, give me a call, send me a private message. Let's have a chat. My program may not work for every single parent out there, and that's why I want to have a chat with you to see if my program and my life accelerator is the right program for you and for your children to really bring some certainty, confidence, and a sense of framework to help them develop the necessary knowledge and skill and mindset to be future ready. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in tomorrow's training. Bye.